Elizabeth I love her mother, Anne Boleyn? If you love all things history, then why not follow along? Boleyn was the second wife of King Henry VIII, and given everything that it had taken for the couple to marry, it was imperative that Anne give birth to a male heir. For the course of their 3-year marriage, Anne would fall pregnant 3 to 4 times, but only their daughter, the Princess Elizabeth, who was born on the 7th of September 1533, would survive. Anne didn't care that Elizabeth was a girl. She lavished all of her attention on her only child. During her final days in the Tower of London, her last recorded purchase was clothes for young Elizabeth. In 1536, Henry wanted to get rid of Anne, so in May of that year, she was found guilty of treason, adultery, and incest. Marriage was annulled, Elizabeth was declared illegitimate, and Anne's name became persona non grata. You know that Anne's execution had a massive impact on Elizabeth and probably contributed to the reason why she never married. So what was Elizabeth's relationship with her deceased mother? Like her elder half-sister, Mary I of England, she was very vocal in the defence of her mother's legacy and even went so far as to have an act passed through Parliament, reversing her parents' annulment and having herself declared legitimate. Elizabeth rarely spoke about her mother in public. In fact, during her 40-year reign, she only mentioned her mother's name a handful of times. It has led many to believe that Elizabeth didn't feel too strongly towards her mother. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. Due to Anne's reputation, it would have been politically foolish of Elizabeth to directly associate herself with her mother. She chose to honour the memory of her mother in much more subtle ways. This can clearly be seen in the distribution of Elizabeth's patronage. Elizabeth's first Archbishop of Canterbury was a man named Matthew Parker. Matthew Parker had been a favoured chaplain of Anne's, and just before she was arrested in 1536, Anne charged Parker with taking care of Elizabeth. The Boleyn family also flourished. Chief positions at Elizabeth's court were held by the descendants of her aunt Mary. That being said, Elizabeth did have a terrible relationship with her cousin Lettice Knowles. In contrast, most of Elizabeth's paternal family ended up in the Tower of London. The ways in which Elizabeth chose to honour her mother was through the selection of her motto, Semper Idem, which had also been one of Anne's, as well as the inclusion of Anne Boleyn's coat of arms on her property and in her palaces. This is a virginal that dates back to 1570, and we know it belonged to Elizabeth I. The thing that we know belonged to Elizabeth was the Chequers ring. It's called the Chequers ring because it is currently owned by the Chequers House, which is the country residence of the British Prime Minister. What's so special about this ring is that it shows us how much Elizabeth cared about Anne. The ring is a locket which contains miniature portraits of Elizabeth I and her mother Anne Boleyn. Elizabeth greatly cherished this ring, and it was found amongst her most treasured possessions when she died in 1603. If you want to learn more about the relationship between Anne and Elizabeth, then I really recommend checking out Tracy Borman's book. If you enjoyed this video, I will see you next time.